Easy for another guy to speak when he's not in there in a contact sport. It's easy to get a ton of money off these UFC guys while they're not really getting paid, and he's living better than the UFC guys. There's a difference. When they can say, "Oh, Floyd, he's living better than all his fighters." Well, guess what? I was a fighter myself, so I'll put in the work on both sides.
Will boxing always be okay with FC? Will it always stay on top of UFC as the bigger sport?
Well, I think we the first one that started weight classes. UFC didn't have weight classes at first. I mean, boxing is legendary. This goes back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It's only one problem with the sport. There will only be one TBE.
Whether real is that? Are you just?
I hear the boy talking. The leak came out, and it was him that leaked the rumor. And I said, he gets 100 million, I get 7 million. That's a pay cut to me. I don't take pay cuts. I thought boxing was where the money was at. The 7 million is absolutely laughable. He's talking 100 million. I'm also talking 100 million. I'm 27 years of age, and I'm just about halfway through a $100 million contract. At 27 years of age, Floyd Mayweather was on Oscar De La Hoya's undercard. So, compare that. Who doesn't want to conquer both worlds? He's getting old now. I have the size, I have the reach, I have the height. I have the youth. He needs me. I don't need him. That's the truth of it. Who else can he fight? He fights someone else in the boxing realm, and it's like, all of a sudden the pay goes from 100 million to 15 million. So, he needs me. So, if he wants to talk, we can talk. But it's me who's in control here.
If this really took place, you're talking about boxing. Boxing as we know it.
Again, I don't really care about rules. He can make all the rules he wants, I know he would not want to fight in a mixed martial arts contest, in a true fight. If you want to fight in a limited fight, that's no problem. We can do that. I will set aside many other forms of fighting that I practice in, and I will focus on one particular craft. I'm in the game of spinning plates. I'm spinning a boxing plate. I'm spinning a taekwondo plate. I'm spinning a jiu-jitsu plate. I'm spinning a freestyle wrestling plate, a karate plate. There's so many spinning plates in this game. If I was to just put all them down and have one boxing plate spinning, it would be like a load off my shoulders.
Are you as hungry as ever to prove yourself again?
There's something burning in me. I feel like my gut has been emptied again. I don't let anything outside interfere with it, as you can tell, as all of that stuff blew up. I am very focused on returning 100%.
Twitter would melt if McGregor and Mayweather ever fought. So McGregor has been UFC's biggest star, owning 3 of the largest live gates in UFC history. And aside from the Diaz fight, McGregor has been nearly untouchable. A 7-1 record in UFC with 6 knockouts.
While this impasse was taking place, you were writing what you wrote on Facebook, and they had their comments, and there was this insistence that as one of ours, you're required to go do this and go do that, and I think you took exception to that your existence is promotion.
It was a publicized civil war. I was going through some things. There was some crazy stuff going on back home. I wanted to be focused on my training. It
sounds like that was maybe the sticking point. They wanted to use you the way they wanted to use you, and you said, no, I need to do this for myself and get back to the training
I was in a time where I was like figuring out something. I didn't just shut out and say no to everything. I just wanted to do reasonable media, so. And then, hey, all of a sudden, Conor, it's 3 months from the fight. We've got to drag you 40-hour flights to come and do a run around New York, Vegas, California, 70 press conferences, 70 talk shows, adverts, all of this. I was like, I only made you 400 million last week. That was only last week, that fight. I know you want me to go, I need to get right. That's how it all came about, I just wanted to focus, and I was deep in the process. And especially at that particular moment, I just wanted a little bit more time. I didn't shut it off completely. Reasonable media is what I said. I said I would do New York. I said I would do everything else after that. I just need another little bit to set myself. And then the lack of communication, and they weren't having it. They were trying to push back on me. I was trying to push back on them. And then I was like, look, it blew up then, so.
Would you have played out everything the way you did, say, your announcement on Twitter?
I tell you what, it blew up. I wasn't, I don't know what I was just kind of having fun with it. At the start, it was kind of half-hearted, and then it just went, shoo, and then all of a sudden, you're off 200. And I was like, all right, well, you too then. You know, it was kind of like a little, it was fun. We seeing it all blow up like that it was amusing for a while, you know. There was times where I was like, you know, seeing the press conferences take place, and then I was like, I should have just jumped on the damn flight. I should have just stuck it out and went with it. But sometimes you've got to do what's right for you and not do what's right for everybody else. And especially if you've done what's right for everybody else a million times over, you should have the right to be able to do what's right for you sometimes. So that's what I felt. So,
not to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you intend to fight UFC again. You'd like it to be sooner than later, even.
I'm committed to the fight game. I enjoy competition. I enjoy challenges. So if a challenge is in front of me and it appeals to me, then I will go and I will conquer it.
So is your position more all options are open? Everything's on the table? 'Cause we're getting...
You're not playing with this interview. You know, I'm open to challenges.
We got to go to break.
Okay.
This card just got really good. I cannot wait. That was Conor McGregor speaking at MSG, where he will headline UFC 205 on November 12th against Eddie Alvarez. McGregor still talking about Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd said last week he is ready to move on. Max, break it down for us. What is going on here?
You know, you got to love Conor McGregor. He's the best talker who can fight.
Yeah.
Floyd's the best fighter who can talk. And of course, so you put those two names together, it's a huge promotion. Here's what's going on. You ain't going to beat Floyd Mayweather in the ring if you're the same size as Floyd Mayweather. Triple G is bigger. There are guys who, Vladimir Klitschko would beat Floyd Mayweather. He's a heavyweight. But if you're the same size as Floyd, you ain't going to beat him in the ring. You're also not going to beat him at the negotiating table. His entire career has proven that with networks, with other fighters. He's the best, and his team is the best at negotiating the best deal. So he gets the lion's share against anyone. Now, there are fighters who bring something to the table. Canelo Alvarez, you got to give him a piece. He brings something. Manny Pacquiao brings a lot. You got to give him a big piece. Still, Floyd gets the lion's share. So here he is essentially negotiating with Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor's like, time out. Go get me my $100 million. And Floyd's like, well, do you know how this works? I'm the guy. I get the most money.
Yeah.
But here's where Conor has extra leverage that most Floyd opponents at this level don't. In the octagon, Floyd has a 0% chance to beat Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor would beat him easily, early, zero risk for Conor McGregor in the octagon against Floyd Mayweather. It is exactly the same in the ring for Floyd against Conor. Conor got no shot. That's easy money. That's easy work, as Floyd would say. So that's actually leverage for Conor. Because where else does Floyd Mayweather get to make an event that big where his opponent poses absolutely no in-the-ring risk?
Very good point.
And I think at some level, even Conor knows that. And so at the negotiating table, it's like, no. You ain't going to get the lion's share. It's not going to be the percentage you think it is. Look how easy this night. I mean, like, you ain't going to find easier money than this. And I think Floyd also knows that at some level. And so the negotiation goes on. Floyd says, I'm walking away publicly because it seems to give him leverage. But Conor has plenty of leverage here.
Here's where it gets interesting. You know, I told you Floyd called me the other night. I thought he was calling me to congratulate me because I'm going to be calling the Manny Pacquiao fight on November 5th. But he was actually...
Congratulations, by the way.
That is going to be must-see.
Well, you know,
I can't wait.
I'm hoping I make you proud, brother. I'm hoping I
know you will.
You do this already. This is my first time ever doing color commentary for a fight, so I'm going to be nervous.
You're going to be great.
But I'm looking forward to November 5th in Vegas at the Thomas & Mack Center. But let me say this. Floyd didn't call about that. He called about something else. But you know, since I had him on the phone, I took the liberty of asking him about this Conor McGregor. He said, yeah, man, I called it off. He said, brother got to know his place. You know, I mean, wait a minute now. I'm all about my business. I'm in this for business. You know, so it said to me that he doesn't really want to retire. He's comfortable. All right, bought some new property in Times Square. He's going to be making 7 figures a month for the rest of his life. I mean, Floyd is fine. He doesn't need anything, but he has no problems with making more money. You know, and you're absolutely right. He is about the business of making sure he's going to get the lion's share. But here's the thing about Floyd, and you can confirm this better than me. This is just the impression that I've gotten throughout the years communicating with him, Leonard Ellaby, and others. Floyd ain't the kind of dude that just wants to make his money and don't want you to make yours. He might hate promoters making theirs. He might hate the networks getting so much money, but he has no problem with a fighter getting money. I remember that I had spoken to Floyd after the weigh-in the night before he fought Pacquiao. He was so disgusted with Pacquiao because of the share that Bob Arum and Top Rankin ended up getting, for Pacquiao's person. Pacquiao, he owed them. I mean, borrowing money, all of this other stuff. It's too complicated to get into. But the point is that he's saying, we went through all of this to make sure you get this money. And there's still some of that money that you ain't getting. What the hell is wrong with you? He was talking about Pacquiao. Called them stupid. He was disgusted with Pacquiao. He respects Conor McGregor from the standpoint that he elevates the marketability, brings the dollars in, and he's not going to let Conor McGregor get more than him. But he has no problem with Conor McGregor getting his share so long as Floyd gets his own. And so I think when you look at it from that perspective, I think you have to look at it and appreciate it and understand that this is something that could potentially still happen, because if Conor McGregor continues to smoke dudes in the UFC, it's a big deal that he beat Nate Diaz, because that was at 170. He really fights at 145. Yeah. And so for him to move up 25 pounds, if he moves down but still dominates and steamrolls over everybody in his path, even though you and I both don't believe he could touch Floyd, the question is, what if he does touch him? You see what I'm saying? Because I don't believe that either.
In the boxing ring? Hey, octagon is something else. Yeah. Floyd got no shot in an octagon.
Floyd got no shot in an octagon.
Conor got no shot in the boxing.
I totally agree with you. But what I'm saying is the mystique with boxing, there have been plenty of times, and I don't believe he touched. Well, I don't even think he get a headshot in.
Right.
Okay? But what I'm saying is the mystique of boxing, the intrigue, the allure of boxing is when you walk into a ring and you know if this person catches you. See, if Conor McGregor didn't have power, plus he was a UFC fighter coming to fight Floyd, then we're wasting our time. But because he has knockout power, you do find yourself asking, okay, what if this dude caught him? Now, I don't believe it will happen, Stephen A. But that's the intrigue.
Here's the problem. Just like I said, Conor McGregor has a lot of leverage here because it's easy work for Floyd and a huge payday, and so Conor's like, I want my piece. Floyd also has leverage here because UFC ain't boxing where you can cherry pick.
Right.
Floyd has fought a lot of fighters, but he has also cherry-picked in the higher weight classes. Right. When he was 130, 135
he fought everybody.
Fought everybody. As he got bigger, he waited to the right time where they represented minimal risk, maximum reward, which is what you're supposed to do.
Except for Canelo, though.
Canelo is still ascending, but there's always an excuse for Floyd. People are always, no matter what Floyd does, he'll be criticized. He was too young, he was too old, and yet I am here saying that, in fact, I don't believe the outcome would be any different, but Canelo was 22. Pacquiao was older, and that fight was past its expiration date. Same thing with Shane Mosley, etc. Floyd, as I say, has flipped the paradigm, along with Al Heyman, his manager, advisor, has flipped the paradigm in boxing, fighting, combat sports, is exploitation. We, the fans and the networks, exploit fighters. We want to see you win tough, blood and guts. Forget about the fact that you're brain damaged later on in your career, right? Your kidneys don't work. But right now, we want to see you prove all that stuff. The fighter, on the other hand, saying, no, wait a minute. A fighter's manager, rather. They're saying, we want the most money for the least risk. Right. I don't want to walk around brain damaged with bad kidneys later in my life. Right. I don't want to shorten life expectancy. So Floyd and Al Heyman have been so successful at flipping that paradigm, there's a backlash. Because they have out-negotiated the other side, meaning the networks and the fans, by so much that he's made hundreds